All right, welcome back to Speed Souls Charity Marathon, folks. Man, major shout outs to Call Me Zero. Could we get some claps in the chat for that video? That was so great. Just captured so many amazing moments from the Soulsborne Elden Ring community. Thank you so much for putting in so much time for grabbing all those clips and putting that together. That was incredible. With that being said, the marathon must continue. We have a lot of great content that's going to be running all night for you folks. And up next is going to be none other than decosmic, who's going to be running Gungrave at 8%. Take it away, decosmic.
Hey there, my name's Cosmic, or decosmic, and this is Gungrave, a PS2 action game. It's about a guy named Beyond the Grave. Well, his name is now Beyond the Grave, but we'll get into that. And he's taking down an organization that killed him, and now he's back from the dead. So, without further ado, we'll just get on into it. So in 3, 2, 1, and there we go. So, like I said, this guy's name was Brandon Heat, and he and his best friend Harry McDowell rose up the ranks of this organization, and then Harry ended up killing Brandon, and Brandon was brought back to life as Beyond the Grave, a dual handgun wielding machine, basically, or killing machine. And now he's taking his revenge on everybody in the organization, including Harry. So this game is basically organized into a series of hallways, much like, most PS2 games are, or most PS2 action games. And we're just going to take out a bunch of dudes throughout the course of the game. So first thing to note, I do have a shield. If it looks like I'm not taking damage, it's because in the upper right-hand corner, underneath the red health bar, I have a blue bar, which indicates my shield, and that regenerates. So first of all, we're going to go into this room right here, take these guys out, and then we're just going to keep going. So a lot of these rooms, there's either a set number of enemies that you have to kill, or you have to spawn a certain wave in order to get, in order to kill that, and then move on to the next area. So we're going to stair hop up these stairs, and then we're going to take out these 3 big burly dudes right here, and then that'll let us progress to the boss fight. I think this guy's name is Mickey or something. I don't even know if he has a last name, but we'll just keep going. So, Mickey always goes over to here, and then we just kind of get to shoot in his face and dance on him. I don't know why Grave feels the need to, do gun kata dances, but it's pretty awesome. Which is, a lot of what this game sort of is. It's just, really cool. It's, a whole lot of just super early 2000s edginess and, everything in the game is just sort of, screams cool and awesome. Grave, he has a coffin on his back. That's what you saw me swing with the melee attack earlier. That's his own coffin. So this guy got resurrected and is now carrying his own coffin on his back as a weapon, in addition to wielding 2 handguns that are called Cerberus. I don't think that they have any names together, separately, but together they're called Cerberus. So we're going to take out these guys right here. And then in this garage area here, we're going to shoot down just this one wave here. And then we're going to move over to the left. Now, a bunch of enemies are going to spawn from up top. And we want to just make sure that we shoot all of them that are coming down. So we missed one person. There we go. We got them now. I think we might have to move up a second here. Yeah, okay, we missed them. I think we might have them now. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, let's get that settled. Oh, no, I didn't get him. Interesting. Okay. Why did you... Oh, it was literally 1 shot left. Okay. Excellent. You'll love to see it. Alright, now we can move on. So, this game is essentially like a third-person shooter styled as a beat-em-up. And it's pretty short. I think casually it only takes, really 3 or 4 hours to get through. But it's very, arcadey in its design philosophy. Really just sort of like a streamlined experience. They even have a built-in turbo mode or a rapid function. It's called rapid in the in-game options. And this lets you, so you don't have to mash for the guns. So all of the shooting that you see me doing, I am just holding down the rapid button that I enabled. And we also turn off the blood because that'll also cause some slowdown. Also, if the game looks a little wacky, that's because I'm actually playing at low graphics, because that also causes a bunch of slowdown too. And we just don't want that. It's just not cool. We're going to also hop over these guys. We're not going to hop over them, actually. I lied. All right, so now we're going to go. there's the hop that I wanted earlier. All right, excuse me, sir. Appreciate it. And then we're going to, instead of walking through this maze of a warehouse, we're going to just jump on up here. And then we're going to do a dive bomb over this way. Take out this guy with his missile launcher and then head into the next room. So, a lot of this game wants you to build a thing called beat or combos. That's just, you know, how you, like, from shooting a lot of people in the same room. And this will build meter up. We'll get into this a little bit later. But it's going to be super important later on. It's essentially like the biggest form of, like, currency that we have in the game, or like a resource. We only need to kill this thing in order to move on. We also have this thing that we got last mission called the Bullet Dance, and the Bullet Dance is a move known as a demolition shot. And demolition shots are essentially the super moves of this game. And in addition to dealing a lot of damage, either in a straight line or in an area around Grave, depending on what move you're using, they also have the added feature of just blowing out your speakers. So it's not really that bad, but they definitely do they definitely do a number on some of the sound design in this game. So we're gonna kind of sit right here, wait for this elevator to come down, take out these three guys, and then we're gonna switch over to the Bullet Dance, and we're gonna head on in. And this is the boss fight. You ready? Don't blink or you'll miss it. And that's the boss fight down. So that is stage 3 over and done with. We also got another move called the Hellhound Roar, which we'll be using in the next couple of stages. So, give a little bit more backstory. This game, I'm playing on the Japanese version, and this is because easy mode only exists on the Japanese version. And the way that this game determines difficulty is merely by enemy damage output. So on Japanese, there's easy, normal, and hard. But on North American copies, there is only normal, hard, and like kick-ass or badass or something like that. And because of this, you save a little bit of time, and it's overall more consistent to run the Japanese version just because enemies are doing less damage, so you don't ever have to worry about spending any extra demolition shots. You see in the upper left-hand corner, there's that thing that says 2. That's how many stocks of demolition that I have, and you can use these to heal yourself. So if you are taking less damage by playing the Japanese version, you will never have to worry about healing pretty much ever. There's like a couple of instances where you might have to, but generally speaking, no. And so overall, it just makes the run a little bit more consistent. It's not a huge advantage, but it's definitely worthwhile and definitely notable. Also, I think my Japanese copy was cheaper than the NA copy too, so that's always cool. And I kind of like the cover art a little bit more, but they're both really good. So there's that. We have a little bit of like downtime here, so if there's like any donations or anything that need to be read or anything like that, go for it. Covered.
Great, sounds good. Well, just once again, we're here at Speed Souls Charity Marathon raising money for Save the Children, which all the donations that get sent in, 100% of those goes directly to Save the Children and their mission in giving children a healthy start in life with the opportunity to learn and have protection from harm. So thank you everybody so much who has sent in donations. It's all going to a great cause. And that being said, after this run is going to be Devil May Cry 5, and there is a bit more for that for the costume selection. So if you would like to see the default costumes get used, EX costumes are in the lead by only $5, so you could clinch that bid war if you just send in a $6 donation right now.
Thank you very much. We're also going to run from this tank now, and then we're going to be getting into a room that's super important to the run. It's this sort of like ballroom area, and essentially the purpose of this room is that we're going to be able to build a huge combo or beat, which you'll see on the right hand side of the screen with like a blue flame around it. And we're going to use this to build up a ton of demolition stocks, which is really important for the rest of the run. So let's get into it right here. So we're going to start off and then dive bomb into those guys, dive and shoot, dive and shoot. And then we want to use all of the destructible environment to continue the combo as the enemies sort of jump into frame. Even including this piano here in the background, that's also destructible. And you want to get around like 200 for the combo while you make sure that, you know, you're taking out all these enemies and sort of keeping track of everything. So there's that guy right there. We've got a couple of chairs that we can use. I like it. Excellent. That guy's down. Okay. I think the highest that I've done is probably somewhere in the like 250 range. Where did that guy go? All right. Excellent. You'll love to see it. I think. There. Okay. Good. All right. That's fine. That'll work. We'll take it. It's not the best combo in the world, but you know, that's fine. All right, so here's a small guitar strum for effect. And then we got to get into the boss fight against Bob Poundmax. There's a few leaders to this organization that Brandon has to go through before he confronts Harry. This first one, his name is literally just Bob Poundmax. They have some interesting names, and we'll detail them out. After we down this guy, we're going to flex on him. And then he's going to go into his overkill state because he's so mad that he just got taunted. And this huge blueberry form that he's going to go into gives him a bunch of new attacks, and it also gives him like 6 helicopter blades that just kind of float around him. Did I mention that the guy that does the character designs for this game also did the character designs for Trigun? A few things should probably click upon hearing that. So we just kind of got to avoid him and just make sure that we're stocking up a bunch of beat there. Okay, that's fine. Gonna get a good amount here. And then once his health hits a certain amount, we're gonna initiate an execution skip. So you're gonna see the skull here glow blue, and then we're gonna skip the cutscene from initiating the execution scene. And that allows us to do what is called like the Shungokusatsu technique, or like the Raging Demon technique. And it looks like the Raging Demon because it's a reference to Akuma from Street Fighter, where he does his, you know, like little die 1,000 deaths thing, and then the whole screen goes black, and then he just kind of pops up next to the other person and they're dead. So that's what we kind of do right there. That's when I went on SDA to look up some of the stuff to run this game, that was named in there as like the Raging Demon technique. So not my favorite name in the world for a technique, but we'll keep it just due to the legacy. So getting into this parking garage area right here, because again, you know, every PS2 action game's got to have like a sewer level, a warehouse level, subways, and like chopper fights. We're gonna finish that checklist by the end of the game. And so now we're gonna shoot these guys on the stairs here, and then get to this area right here. The door is gonna open very slowly because of, you know, lag. And then we're gonna run straight to this shop, and I'm gonna try and beat the door closing here. Let's see if we can actually get it. Okay. And we did beat it. Nice, excellent. So now we're going to take out this guy and then use the bullet dance demolition shot to take out the rest of these dudes. Now here is where you're going to start to see the effect of the Japanese like easy mode sort of come into play. Because you're going to see how many dudes are shooting at me and how little damage I am taking as a result. Like my shield has not even been depleted at this point. And then we're going to also do a dive and shoot from the top of the steps here just for fun. Alright, so then we're going to try and beat out these guys. And then we'll do this, and then use a bullet dance in the middle of the room to take out all of those enemies there. And then we're going to shoot the enemies down the tunnel here, and that will wrap up the spawns for this room. We also kind of want to try and beat out... I don't think we're going to beat him out. But that's fine. Okay. No, okay, there he is. There's a little samurai guy that kind of jumps down to interrupt you, and if you can get past him spawning, if you can get to the next room before he starts to spawn, then that's always good. So to blow up all the barrels in this area, to take out a bunch of enemies, we're going to stand about right here, and then use bullet dance again. And then we're going to move on through this area. This is another one, again, where you're going to see, you know, we're just going to not take, you know, a whole lot of damage. So we just kind of walked out of there like unscathed. If we were playing on like normal or hard and just kind of tried to ignore those guys, we would have gotten shredded. So, boom, boom. A lot of action games sort of this area too. That's like not a totally uncommon thing. Those of you are probably, like many of you are probably familiar with the sort of like localization method of like DMC3. Where the game was made harder for the US release. This was a pretty common thing for a bunch of PS2 action games where when the game was brought over to the West, it was made harder. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but like what I've heard is that because the rental market was so high and like popular in the West, they didn't want people to beat the game in a short amount of time. So they wanted you to buy the game and then beat it. So they just made the games harder as they came over here. The biggest grievance I've seen really is Chaos Legion, but you know, this game's not too bad. So we're gonna go through this area by doing some jazz hands. We're now on a train, by the way, and then we're gonna use bullet dance. Well, not actually. I need to save some demolition shot here, so we're just gonna kind of clean these guys up right here, and then we're gonna switch over to the Hellhound Roar. Now these guys are riding on a missile. Please take note of that. These guys are just straight up riding on a missile. And then we're gonna go into the next area, and there's gonna be more dudes riding on missiles, just right outside of a train, wielding submachine guns. Why? Because it's cool. It's awesome. This game just rips. And then I said we were going to complete this checklist. So we still needed the chopper fight. And hey, look, here's the chopper. Right over here. Oh, word? Okay, excellent. You love to see it. All right, so this did not hit, so I'm going to have to... Okay, excellent, good. That would have been a lot of time lost if we didn't get that. But we did, so it's all cool. So the next boss of the organization that we have to work our way through is called Ballad Bird Lee. And we don't have to go through a preliminary sort of form to fight him. He just sort of goes into his overkill form immediately. He's in this very, like, skeleton-y, like, look. He's also going to land this on me. That really sucks. But he's got, like, a machine gun leg and a blade leg. And he's just not a fun guy to fight. So we're going to try and land some sort of like combo on him, but this is definitely a boss that can just really rob you of a lot of time saved that you've kind of like built up to this point. That was unfortunate as well. I hope I can kind of squeak out of here relatively. There we go. Nice. Okay. Excellent. That was a little close, but that's like the one area if you don't dodge a couple of things, then you're going to have to be pretty cautious. So, moving into the underground, I said we were going to complete the checklist, so here it is done. We got the sewer level in here now. This is probably one of my favorite stages in the game, just because there's a lot of like really cool movement and everything here. So, we're going to go on up these steps, and can we get that? Yeah, we did. Nice. Excellent. And we're going to hop up the stairs here again. And then we're going to go across here. Love to see it. Okay, don't worry. I wasn't going to walk off the edge there. It always happens that way. And then I'm going to take out those guys. Alright, so I am going to need to concentrate for a second here because this is like a mini skip that's coming up. We're going to be jumping across walkways. And the way that Grave kind of jumps in this game is rather weird to get a handle on, and it can be kind of disastrous if we don't get it. So give me 1 second here. All right, let's do this. All right, come here, sir. Thank you. Excellent. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. All right, dude. The missile? Really? All right, sick. Cool. All right. I see you. All right. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's what I thought. Give me that. Okay, cool. That was the first one. And now we're going to knock these guys out of our way, but we're not going to knock all three of them out of the way, because we don't want the other spawn to come in. So let's try and jump here. This one is the dangerous one. There we go. Nice. Got it. And that was like the big area that I'm always worried about when I'm doing like PB attempts. So that's great to be able to get that off. I'm not really mad at the missile, but you know, I think these things happen. So, now that we've taken out this guy right here, we're going to move on to the elevator. And this is definitely an area where, as a runner, you really need to try and make sure that you minimize the amount of slowdown or lag that you're experiencing on your PS2 by making sure that there's just not a lot of enemies on screen, or you have to make sure that the part of the screen that you're looking at just doesn't have a lot of people. So, like, you can either, you know, manage that, but like however you want to, in terms of like you can kill enemies to make sure that they're not on screen, or you can also sort of manipulate the camera to make sure that they're not gonna come up. So like right there, we just kind of know that those guys are gonna come up, and we just start shooting. So a lot of this really is sort of memorizing the waves of the elevator. So like right there, and then we'll just keep going. These guys unfortunately did kind of push me. We don't want that, but we're gonna keep it trucking. And we got a little bit of downtime here too, so we have a little bit of time for donations or anything else that needs to be done.
Awesome, great. This run is going so well, Cosmic. I'm very, very impressed by your play.
Thank you.
That being said, here at Speed Souls, where we're raising money for Save the Children, we are so fortunate to have a number of partners. One of them is none other than Bandai Namco, which has been a partner of SCM for every single marathon that we put on. And this year, they have given us a Dark Souls Trilogy Compendium to give away, and also some Elden Ring swag, which is awesome. So thank you so much, Bandai Namco, for their continued support of SCM, and make sure to stick around for the giveaways that are going to be going on during this weekend, because this is only the first day of the marathon, folks. So we have a weekend that's going to be action-packed of these amazing speedruns from these runners.
Awesome. All right, so this should be, I think, the last wave right about here. I think these missile guys are the last one. I always forget, like, the last wave here. All right, there we go. Yeah. So now we've ended up just sort of at a samurai hideout or something, but we're not going to be fighting anybody that resembles a samurai. We're going to be fight the third boss of the organization, or fourth, I guess. His name is Bear Walkin', and his first form here already starts out weird. He's got a bunch of weapons on him: a flamethrower, a machine gun, a missile launcher. He's got like a big charge grab move that he does, and we kind of just want to run around in circles around him, just sort of manipulate the patterns that he's going to do, and just shoot off his arms one by one as we deplete his health bar. We don't want to get too close, because that's when he'll do the flamethrower. We don't want to get too far away, because that's when he'll start to do the charge. Like this. Yeah, he'll try and bring himself into range here, and we just kind of want to... This is bad. No, sir. Can you leave me alone? Look at this. Look at this guy. What are you doing? He's like, hey, I'm walking over here. So now Bear Walkin' is going to go into his overkill form. And it's just this giant, like, couple of arms that are gripping onto a wheel. And what we're going to do here is try to make sure that we get him to sort of come over to one corner. And then it's going to reset him. Okay, he didn't get reset there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, let's try and get him here. Yep, there he goes. He's going to reset himself back. And then we're going to... He's going to throw a helicopter at us, by the way. That's a thing in this game. Come on. There you go. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And then this will ensure that he will not go across the stage. Okay, bud. We're sick. And we won't have to chase him down. And that's all that that's going to do. So, Bear Walkin' is now down. And we are heading into the final stage of the run. This first boss that we're going to be fighting, he's going to hopefully go by pretty quickly. His name is Bungie. But not like the Bungie that made Destiny and Halo, more like the Bungie that made, like, Oni. And he has, like, a big, like, giant dash that he does right here that we're going to have to avoid. And then we're just going to kind of lay into him with shots. Casually, this boss is actually pretty difficult because you want to make sure that you keep him in your line of sight. Otherwise, he's going to keep healing. He's also, like, the top assassin of the organization after, you know, Brandon's death, basically. So, Grave, or Brandon, now that he's taken down Bungie, that's sort of like one of the last obstacles in his way, he's going to head into the tower. It's just called the tower. To face Big Daddy, which is also the name of Harry McDowell, his former best friend, who is now leading the organization. I believe it's called the Millennium Organization. So now we're going to go into this big sort of like uncanny valley looking place. So very like, I don't know, I get a lot of Killer 7 vibes from this area too. We're going to hop up the stairs here, and we're going to fight these mutated guys. These are sort of like the more extreme versions of a lot of the enemies that we fought up until this point. And if you want to know why these enemies are blue, it's sort of explained in the like the sequel game, Overdose. They took like this one little tidbit of lore, and they expanded it into like a 5-10 hour game. So pretty cool. I should also note, by the way, like what's pretty cool trivia about this game is that it like, well, not really trivia, but like pretty cool factoid is that this game sort of went in the opposite order that most adaptations do, which is that this game was a video game first, and then it became an anime, and then a manga after that. So if you've heard of like the Gungrave anime, this came first, and then the anime actually expanded on a lot of the lore. So I would definitely recommend the anime. Like if you like what you're seeing here and you want to like, you know, play the game and get like a little bit more into it, anime is pretty darn good watch. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my favorites. It's about like 26 episodes or something. So a lot of these waves here, by the way, a lot of them are super specific in terms of what enemies you need to down, and in order to optimize a lot of the time that you spend on these floors, you want to make sure you're as close as possible to these sort of landing pads. We also want to get up here as quickly as possible to make sure that we take out these guys, because we want to get a spawner right here, this blue bulbous thing. We want to take this out before it actually is able to unleash the enemies, because otherwise we're going to have to deal with enemies that have like 4 arms and 2 of them wield shotguns and everything. Like I said, this game's kind of ridiculous. But that's the first floor of the tower down, so we're going to be moving on. This is also where we're going to use the Inferno demolition shot. It's hopefully the only place that we'll really need to use it. Can you, sir? I need to take this guy out, but he's being very difficult. Alright, cool. Excellent. So now we're going to switch to the Raging Inferno. And then we're just going to use that, and that's going to go down. Now, this is a little specific here. So we want to run past this first guy. Excuse me. This guy might despawn. Yeah, there he goes. He just despawned. And now there's only 2 of these guys with missile launcher hands. I'm continually just amazed by some of the enemy descriptions that I get to give when I play this game. 4 shotguns, I'm sorry, in the hands of these enemies. They have like 4 arms, and all of them wield shotguns. I mean, if you have that many arms and you want to wield shotguns, you might as well use all of them. Can't go halfway. And that just made it so that we don't have to deal with any of them, because if you let those enemies sort of play the game, so to speak, they have some very long blocking animations, and you really have to sort of like meleeing them and everything, and that just takes a while. Melee is definitely not Grave's strong suit. That's why this game is called Gungrave and not Swordgrave or Melee Grave. And then this is actually the last wave of enemies before we get into the last couple of bosses. And the first one is actually, I believe, a mutated version of Harry himself. Oh, this is actually terrible. Yep, there we go. Okay, hold up. Let's see if I can do this. Yep, cool. Yep, we just knocked him off. Cool. Got him. We adapted and overcame. All right. So then we're going to move into this last boss here, or this penultimate boss, I'm sorry. And this guy has, this game loves to give bosses like flame breaths and machine guns and stuff. So this guy's going to always like start off with a flame breath, very similar to like how Bear Walken did. And I thought I could dodge that one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there's the machine gun hand right there. that we're going to be dealing with. And there's that. We're just going to kind of jump right through there. That was actually a pretty bad decision on my part. And we're going to use the dive chutes to sort of avoid that right there. And we just kind of want to keep making sure that we're pumping a lot of damage into him. We're just going to use the Raging Inferno here to cancel out that attack, because I don't really want to deal with it. It's going to cause a little bit of slowdown, so overall a little bit of time loss every time we're going to have to do that, but he's not going to use that arm anymore either, so now that guy's down. And this is actually the last boss. We're going to be just kind of walking backwards in a straight line, but I promise you, okay, I'm going to just let the execution play out, because we've probably got a little bit of time. It's only like 10 seconds or so. And it's super cool. We don't get to see any of the executions in this game, but this is definitely one of the coolest ones. So the time is going to be coming up in about a minute or so. I'll let you all know. And it's going to be when we actually kill Harry, because he's going to tell Brandon, you know, like, oh, it's your turn now. But you're not going to be able to read that because it's going to be in Japanese. So I will do my best to give my best vocal performance of that when that time comes. So we're going to walk backwards down this hallway. It's a very trippy hallway, too. It's something else. And we got to avoid these eyeballs that the final boss is going to shoot at us. And there we go. All right. So first, he's going to do some donuts with his coffin that has jet boosters. And then he's going to unleash a whole other wave of weapons, like one giant cannon here, a machine gun, and then like 4 missiles. He's like a walking missile silo. And that's going to take down the alien head boss. Oh, no. Alright. So, boss down. Time will be coming up in a few seconds here. Sit over. It's your turn now, Brandon. Do it. And time. And that is Gungrave any percent on PS2. I do want to thank Speed Souls very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to show this game, and Save the Children is definitely a charity that's sort of like near and dear to me, because it's actually the first charity that I ever supported for a marathon back in like 2019. So it's been awesome to do another marathon in service of that cause. So thank you very much to all of Speed Souls staff, and good luck to all the runners and everything, and thank you to my wonderful host, Muffin.
Yo, awesome stuff, Cosmic. Give it up for decosmic with that amazing run of Gungrave any percent. And that being said, with the end of this run as well, it's not the end of the marathon, but that being said, I am going to be signing off here now for the rest of the night. And that being said, we have our next host here joining us in the channel itself. Sam Without a Plan, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speed Souls Charity Marathon 2022, benefiting Save the Children. My name is Sam Without a Plan. Thank you so much, Muffin. I'll be your host for the next few hours, but right now we're going to take a minute to show off a little video, so stay tuned.